Afternoon, guys. Last night, AFC Bournemouth lost 4-0 to West Ham at the London Stadium. I've had a little bit of time to calm down, but looking at the league table, it does not look pretty, does it? AFC Bournemouth's form has dropped off a cliff, and let's be frank, it's been poor for a long time, and there have been a few results in the middle that have papered the cracks. I'm talking Arsenal, the draw at home, the win against Manchester United, and also Chelsea away. Apart from that, we've had a number of games, most of which are winnable, and we've come away with nothing. We've not even been close to winning. We went up at Newcastle, we went 1-0 up, absolutely capitulated as soon as they took the lead. Confidence coursed through the veins of the players, the Newcastle players that is, but for Bournemouth, absolutely nothing. We are bereft. We've got players that are completely underperforming. For a long time, Eddie Howe, as good a manager as he is, has managed to keep a team together that is united, with great team spirit, and there's always been a lot of smiles on the pitch. These days, we're not seeing any of that at all. I think a result of all of those factors combined meant that there were a number of players that perhaps aren't your so-called Premier League quality that have been overperforming and have managed to retain Premier League positions. And I think that's possibly what happened for a long time with us. Harry Arter, fantastic for us in the Championship and did so well when everything was good. But as soon as the proverbial hit the fan, his form dropped off a cliff. Now, of course, there were personal issues with him as well. But there are other players, you've got to say, where their form has just completely dipped and they do not look like Premier League quality. After the match, I asked for your 5-word match reports. I'm going to give a little bit more of my opinion, a little bit considered, a bit later on, but these were your reports in 5 words, and a lot of them are not pretty, and we're gonna go through every single one, and I'll comment where possible. As a podcast and YouTube channel, I do have my own opinion, and I'm not afraid to give it, but I have always been wary of providing these knee-jerk reactions because through the 5 seasons we've had in the Premier League, there has been lots of that. We've had horrendous runs before and there's been shouts for Eddie to go. He turns it around and everyone walks away with their tails between their legs. It's a different situation now. Injuries are awful and I've never seen us in a low mental point like this. However, these were your thoughts at full time. So Adrian Kelly said, get behind your fucking team. Tom Jordan, gutless shit show, where's the fight? Neil Dawson, my dad's playing against Luton. My dad does walking football, tempted to get him involved as well, Neil. By the way, subscribe to this channel. Neil is one of your more straight talking fans, and on Sunday after the Luton game, we're going to be talking about the FA Cup shit show, possibly. I don't know, looks like we'll be playing our youth, and then we'll also cover the West Ham game in a bit more depth as well, so do subscribe to hear what he's got to say. Adrian again, negativity is truly not supportive. Shiv, the only way is up. Ryan Kingham, in all sorts of trouble. Time to show our support, said David. Chris, it was bad for AFCB. Jack Russell, need to turn the corner. Dear God, what's going on, says Alan. James says, who deals with ticket refunds? Dave Gullis, injuries decimate confidence and performance. Martin, back to the training ground again, or one word like we did there. Also gone beyond a joke now, he says, and wake me up before you go. James Clark, our strongest team against Luton? Part of me thinks that because we need the confidence, but just imagine if we got another injury now. I know momentum is a really key thing, but keeping the players, I think, is more key. And in the meantime, Eddie can train these players that we've got to death and see if we can get something together ahead of the next home game. Phil, we need a fucking miracle. Simon, where will guts emerge from? Sean, podcaster extraordinaire for Back of the Net, won't win with no goals. Our attacking prowess is gone. I can't explain how poor it was up front yesterday. Really bad, no running into channels, just bouncing off them when they're trying to retain possession. We used to be able to hold up the ball really well. At the moment, it's just not happening at all. Part of me thinks it starts from the front because defensively, aside from yesterday, we have been better, and overall the stats confirm that. But up front, there is nothing. Is it the supply line? Is it up front? I actually think it's a combination of factors. Jake, looking forward to the championship. Wayne, it's darkest just before dawn. Nicely put. Adrian again, the relentless smartassery kills me. Steve, many games left to win. Nice positive comment, Steve. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday hopefully at Luton. Matthew, players don't give a fuck. Going down with a whimper, said Tim. Going down, repeat, said Tommy Heffernan's poodle. Al, depressingly poor yet again. What WTF was that? Utterly pathetic. Cherry, is Eddie out of ideas? Throughout the history of AFC Bournemouth and Eddie Howe being in charge, you remember he got criticised for our original style in the first season of the Premier League. He got criticised by Martin Keown, people like that. People say he needs to, a plan B, change his formation, but Eddie stuck with what he knew. And then in the end, it came, it turned around for AFC Bournemouth, and then he emerged with lots of credit. Eddie stayed playing the philosophy that he knows. But maybe that's because he doesn't know any other philosophy. Playing devil's advocate, just putting it out there. Where were we? Always preferred the championship anyway, said Lewis. Michael Snedden, can this season just end? Yeah, but ideally, not right now. We need to just get above that dreaded dotted line. Henry, the Reds are going down. Louis, dejected, uninspiring, lethargic, pathetic, disgraceful. DJM, mashup of mayhem and misery. That is how for now, said Richard. No VAR in the championship, said Murky, and he smiles at that. Not that it would have affected the result. In a weird, perverse way, I'm kind of glad that penalty was given. To me, it was obvious that Noble clicked his heels. I think there was a bit of contact with the arms. Don't care. West Ham deserved the result. In a way, I'm glad it was given as a penalty, even if it wasn't. Yes, it was given and it flags up how crap VAR is, but also it made the result worse for AFC Bournemouth, which I think 4-0 is worse than the 3-0, and there'll be more shame in a 4-0 than what it would for 3. So I'm quite glad that was actually given, because it will give more of a rocket up the players ahead of our forthcoming matches. Not sure I should comment, said Matthew. Yeah, Hensmanian, you didn't fly in from Sydney. Yes, one of our Australian contingent. Sorry, mate. I mean, what a poor time to come and watch us play. Mr. O, so shit became funny. Rob, character, not scapegoats required. And we can provide a number of scapegoats if we're honest, can't we? Mr. King, could be worse. It could be worse, in brackets, 20th. True, but we could be there very soon. Stuart, can 2020 get any worse? Also, we've had a longer comment as well from Gary. Eddie has done all he can for this club, what he's saying. No one showed any fight, said Ryan. So embarrassing, it was funny. Simply ACB. Rob, no guts for relegation fight. Leona was always going to happen. Even Lerma wasn't very good. Now, said Cam, in his defence, I think he come back from injury, and that's why he wasn't blooded against the last match we had against Brighton, but you still think, well, why is he on the bench then? Why does he do that? I'll come to that point a bit later. Eddie out or we're gone, says Mount Mepham. Chris Callahan must be Watford and Norwich. And he also says, we don't need a cup run. Yeah, you could be right. Oh man, it was so shocking yesterday. Even still on Twitter now, I've got messages coming in, and I sort of dread to look at them. Now, with regards to my earlier point about playing players that are injured, Steve Cook looked like he was carrying an injury. It was confirmed afterwards by the looks of it that he was. Lerma as well, not fit. If he's playing players that are unfit, then that indicates to me that he's got no faith in starting players like Sermon and Simpson, which makes me think, like, how can we really believe him at the start of the season when he said this is the strongest ever Premier League squad we've got? Because every player that he's got in that squad should be good enough for the Premier League, and you're playing players that are unfit above them. So that indicates to me that the squad depth that we've got is nowhere near what he said it was. AFC Bournemouth were dog. As I said on Twitter, we were dog last night. No desire, no hunger, second to every ball, misplaced passes, slow, laborious. Rico was the first person to get a shot on target. You've seen me say these things already. West Ham didn't have to do much to regain possession. It was a bit like Brighton. They were stronger in every tackle, winning every 50-50. Quite scary to see. Are some of our players, trying to turn on the ball like they're a fucking JCB? Not exactly... not a beautiful thing to watch. Not turning on a sixpence. It was more like turning with the turning circle of a helipad. It was awful at times, but got to say this, okay? Got to say this. Some people are Eddie out, some people are Eddie in. Eddie's done wonders for this club. We could get someone has seriously mentioned Harry Redknapp. Another person mentioned Sam Allardyce. Okay, if they save us, we're going to be starting a season with those two managers. Are you absolutely kidding me? Are you kidding me? The Bournemouth identity will be lost, and that's what we've kind of thrived on for now. And I know that we'll do whatever we need to do to stay in. We'll sacrifice our footballing identity. The other week, lads, you're going on about how Burnley are like anti-football. Maybe you've changed your opinion now. If you calm down and realise that maybe what they're doing is not a bad thing. I think that Eddie's still the man, but we need to vary it up and we need to come up with different ways to play. I'm not convinced that getting rid of him at this stage, this is my opinion, is going to be beneficial to the club in the long term. My opinion, I don't think we'll go down this season, and I think we'll be safe with a few games to go, looking at the matches ahead. But this does require the players to step up. This 4-0 is a massive result for us. Do you remember when Saints got battered 9-0 and we sang that chant for ages while our own players were underperforming? Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing to think of that now, to see where they are. However, maybe that result at West Ham is a similar kind of fillip that we need in order to improve our performances. Whatever your opinion is on Eddie, we need to seriously get behind the boys on match day. We used to be that 12th man, and we haven't been for a long time. And that, that's not me just saying that. I think 442 do this annual kind of sort of decibel level of club volumes, highest in the first season of the Premier League, and we've gone down ever since. And even in the North Stand, which is usually a hotbed for noise, it's not been very good. One of the best matches has been Southampton at home when we won 2-0, and that was that our first season? Afobe and Steve Cook scoring. And the sound levels that we had there were phenomenal. Even in the main stand, they were singing. We need to get behind the boys. For too long, we've relied on the team being the catalyst of the atmosphere, and I know that it takes two to tango. It's a two-way street, and they should give us something to cheer about. But the thing is, we aren't in control of them, but we are in control of us, and at least we can do what we can do. Compared to other Premier League clubs, and Bournemouth have always been reactive rather than proactive. What I mean is, we're waiting for the players to do something. We're waiting for someone to crunch into a tackle, to make a burst or create an opportunity, and then we'll start singing. We go on about how other clubs have atmospheres like libraries. Of course, we got a small fan base, but we can make such a difference. Look, we just need to cut our nose off to spite our face. Even if the team are playing crap, we just need to make that noise. We need to get behind them and make Dean Court sound as louder than ever, home and away too. Yes, I'm not denying there are massive issues on the pitch. Maybe there's disunity off it. Not too sure. I'm not going to blame injuries for our plight, because we've got players that technically have done it before, and they can do it again. That starting lineup, we've seen lineups very similar this season and previous seasons that have won matches. We are playing like a team destined for relegation, but we can do our bit. And we just need to hope that the players do the same. We all need to come together now, and that starts at Luton. It may not be the kind of lineup that you have paid your money to see. It may be playing the youth, but either way, momentum is vital in this league. And even some of our younger players, they might show some of our senior players up. You never know. We've got to get behind the lads. have a few beers Saturday afternoon. Let's go. Let's enjoy the FA Cup and see what we can do with it. But if we lose, kick off online. Don't tag players. I don't think it's beneficial for that. You look a dick, and also the players don't exactly get much encouragement with it. Encourage them as much as you can. I'm not particularly pro Eddie or against Eddie, and I'm happy to echo opinion both ways. However, just try to be constructive as possible in your support. It feels like wartime spirit now. It really does. It starts against Luton, and then we got the Premier League the week after. I'm confident that we'll get out of this mess because of what we've done before and the quality of players that we potentially have. It's up to Eddie to get the most out of it, work out other ways of playing, change the formation, and we will get a few wins under our belt and things will start to look brighter. But you're looking at 3 worst teams in the Premier League. It's very difficult, isn't it, to see that when other teams are picking up points left, right and centre. To the credit of the other teams, and West Ham yesterday, it's possibly the strongest it's ever been. Everyone was saying Sheffield United, you're going down. Norwich, you're going down. They are showing fight. So time for us to go and do that now as well. You've got to say that it would be horrendous to have a run that goes on much longer than this. And if it happened, we deserve to go down. But we are still in the mix. We're only just a point below safety at the moment. So to have been poor for so long, really we're getting away with it. This kind of form that we've got should really be putting us 10 points behind everyone else, because it has been shocking. But we're still in the mix, and this form won't last forever, all right? And we can do our bit as fans to be that 12th man. Let's get behind the boys, all right? It feels like a call to arms, but we need to. Whatever your thoughts are on Eddie, just park them for a bit, okay? Just chat in the pub with your mates. Do it online, whatever you need to do, but we need to come together on Saturday and just get behind the boys. It's not very pretty, but we can do this. Up the Cherries.